A warm welcome to one and all. Today I will be continuing with the second part of this concrete mix proportioning as per IS 262/2019. The last class we stopped at data for the mixed proportioning. So before we go with the mixed proportioning, we will have the collection of these data as we discussed in the last class. Okay. Today I'll just further proceed into some basic concepts of concrete mixed proportioning, where today I'll be discussing about what could be the factors which may affect the selection of these materials. Okay. Before that, I want to introduce one table from IS 456 2000, page number 16. It's table number 2, grades of concrete. Okay, we have a concrete, so there are different grades of the concrete like M10, M15, M20. They are called as ordinary concrete. M25 to M55, it's a standard concrete, and M60 to M80, they are called as high strength concrete. Now, I just want to introduce you a term. What does this M stand for? The notes under the table, it's being mentioned in the designation of the concrete mix. M refers to the mix, and the number to the specified compressive strength of 150 mm size fluid, which is being cured at 28 days and expressed in Newton per mm square. So this is the designation for the grade of the concrete, that is M, some number. M stands for mix, and the number stands for the compressive strength in Newton per mm square cured at 28 days. Okay, and they are called as grade of the concrete. So before we before we go for the mixed proportioning, we should know the grade of the concrete. So for what strength where I'm going to go for the mixed proportioning, that we should note. So there are typically some different factors which may affect our choice for the mixed proportion. When I say choice for the mixed proportion, what I have is concrete is a heterogeneous material which consists of cement in it, it consists of water in it, it consists of fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, and then the admixtures, and then some percentage of air also. Okay, so these being the different parts of the ingredients of the concrete, and how what factors may affect these selection of these individual materials, that we will discuss. First is a compressive strength, of course. The characteristic compressive strength of a concrete is how that's this term we are going to have a different grades of the concrete. So it is one of the most important properties of the concrete, and it influences many other desirable properties of the hardened concrete. There are many factors which are being expressed in the form of this compressive strength, say flexural strength, say tensile strength. In fact, even durability is being expressed in terms of this strength of the concrete. Okay, so one is the compressive strength, which is one of the factor which will affect our selection of the ingredients of the concrete. More the compressive strength we want, we already know that Abraham's law, and more the compressive strength we need, we have to go with the increase in the cement content. Okay, cement being one of the ingredients in the concrete. So if we want higher strength, then we have to increase the cement content. So compressive strength is also going to affect the mixed proportion. Second is the workability. See, workability will also affect our mixed proportion. The degree of workability required, it depends on the three factors. Basically, size and shape of the section to be concreted, quantity and spacing of the reinforcement, and then method of compaction to be used. These three are very important when we deal with the workability. So we are supposed to look at these three parameters before we think of what shall be the workability of our mixed proportion. See, if our workability is not proper, then we may end up with such bad concreting. Like this is a honeycombing. Okay, here I have a heavy reinforcement, and maybe I have selected a higher grade of the aggregate here, so that has choked further passage of this concrete paste into the bottom of the column here. So again, I'm ending with the spaces without being occupied by the concrete. Okay, these are very bad. Um, uh, these are very bad conditions in the concreting also. So workability and looking at these three parameters is very important. And as far as workability is considered, like we should basically understand there are different types of concrete placing conditions which exist on the site, and based on the placing conditions, we have to define our workability. And to make ease our work, IS 456 has given some ranges of slump values for the different placing conditions. Like blinding concrete, shallow sections, and between pavements will require very low workability, and in mass concreting, hand placed pavements, lightly reinforced sections, columns, floors. We require 25 to 75 mm of workability, the slump value. Okay, in heavy reinforced sections, we require around 50 to 100 mm of workability, and in trench filling, that is in semi-concreting or in situ piling, we may require high range of the workability. So if you don't have any idea of the workability, you can use this clause 7.1, which is being given in IS 456 for the initial mix design. Okay, so you can use this table for the initial mix design. Then durability. Durability is one of the important factor which is supposed to be considered in the concrete fixed proportion, because durability factor alone restricts your minimum cement content and the maximum water cement ratio. It is resistance to just define durability. It's a resistance to aggressive environmental conditions. High strength concrete is generally more durable than the lower strength concrete. The durability requirement will determine the water cement ratio to be used. That's being mentioned in IS 456. Okay. How can we achieve durability? We can achieve durability by two ways. One is we have to restrict minimum cement content. In the sense, we should restrict a minimum certain amount of cement content. Like we have to add cement more than that value. Okay. So there is a restriction on the minimum cement content, and also there is a restriction on the maximum water cement ratio. As you all know that more the water cement ratio, less is the strength, and at the same time, less is the durability. So IS code has given you maximum permissible water cement ratio based. Okay, above that value we cannot use in the concreting. Why see, these reasons are not being quoted in neither in the textbook or in the codes. Why do we restrict minimum cement content? Generally, it's for a reinforced concrete, minimum cement content is 300 kg per cubic meter of the concrete. Okay, the one factor is the strength. I'm supposed to achieve minimum strength, so I should add minimum amount of I should add a minimum quantity of the cement, and at the same time, this cement is alkaline. Okay, and this alkalinity is like it gives you a passive environment against the corrosion. This alkalinity of the cement protects the steel. Okay, or otherwise steel is going to corrode in the concrete. That will make concrete less durable as far as reinforced concrete is concerned. So that's why for these two reasons there is a minimum restriction on the minimum cement content. So there's a typical chart which shows you why they have restricted maximum water cement ratio. Okay, in the table number 5, there's a limit on the maximum water cement ratio. Now, this is a graph of water cement ratio versus coefficient of permeability. Permeability is it allows the passage of water into any material. Okay, now I'm talking of permeability of the concrete. Now, if you could look at this water cement ratio at 0.5, till 0.5, your permeability is very less. And above the 0.5, look at the variation, it is exponential. Okay, so variation of permeability is exponential after water cement ratio of 0.5. So because of this reason, IS code restricts water cement ratio. We have a maximum restriction on the water cement ratio. We can use any value which is lower than that value as far as water cement ratio is considered. And at the same time, IS code specifies some exposure conditions of the concrete, where the concrete is being exposed, in which type of environment it is being exposed. Okay, based on this exposure condition, there is a this is being linked to minimum cement content in the concrete mix proportion. So, based on IS 456, there are 5 different classifications of the environment. It's called as mild environment, a moderate environment, severe environment, very severe environment, and then extreme environment. As far as mild environment, they are the concrete surfaces protected against weather or aggressive conditions, except those situated in coastal area. Okay, any concrete which is not situated in a coastal area and which is being protected against the weather, that environment is a mild environment. Similarly, moderate is being defined. Concrete surfaces sheltered from severe rain or freezing will splat. Concrete exposed to condensation and rain. Concrete continuously underwater. Concrete in contact or buried under non-aggressive soil or in the groundwater. Concrete surfaces sheltered from saturated salt air in coastal area. So when concrete is exposed to these conditions, it's called as moderate. Similarly, severe. Concrete surfaces exposed to severe rain, alternate wetting and drying, or occasional freezing will sweat or severe condensation. Concrete completely immersed in seawater or concrete exposed to coastal environments, they come under severe. Very severe, concrete exposed to seawater spray, like in jetties or in the ports, they come under very severe or in the extreme condition. Concrete exposed to seawater spray, corrosive fumes, or severe freezing conditions will sweat. Concrete in contact with a buried under aggressive subsoil or in the groundwater. And then in the extreme condition, they are the surface members in the tidal zone of the sea. Members in direct contact with liquid or solid abrasive chemicals. Okay, so these five different environmental conditions you have to look at and you have to understand. Freezing and thawing, when the concrete lower than M50 grade used under these conditions, the main total air content is being mentioned in the IS 456, and we should also look at have a criteria that air entrainment reduces the strength, so suitable adjustments are supposed to be made in the mix design for achieving this required strength. So concrete exposed to freezing and thawing, while designing a concrete exposed to freezing and thawing, there are some different criteria what we have to look at. Okay, so we cannot follow those steps which are being given in IS 10262 as far as the design of ordinary concrete is considered. And at the same time, what will happen if there is air in the water is, this is a typical chart which shows you a graph shows which is being plotted against percentage of air versus compressive strength. If you could look at this, around 9% of air voids, your strength has been drastically reduced from around 30 MPa to less than 16 or 15 MPa here. Okay, so we have to reduce the air content in the concrete. Now, I was talking of these exposure conditions. This is table number 5 of IS 456. Okay, there's an exposure condition: mild, moderate, severe, very severe, extreme, and then there is a plain concrete, then there is a reinforced concrete. Plain concrete, it is a concrete without any steel in it. Reinforced concrete is the reinforced concrete structures where we have steel in it. Okay, then if I take an example of this reinforced concrete, okay, now here I have a minimum cement content. Concrete exposed to mild environment, I'm supposed to go with a minimum cement content of 300. Concrete exposed to moderate, my minimum cement content is 300 again. Exposed to severe, it is 320. Very severe, it is 340. In extreme conditions, it is 360. Similarly, maximum free water cement ratio. Look at this, it's being reducing. For mild, it is 0.55, and whereas extreme, it becomes 0.40. Okay, and similarly, grade of concrete is increasing as and when your exposure condition is becoming extreme. It starts from M20 to M40. Okay, the same thing here. It's for a plain concrete. Okay, so in a plain concrete, as we are not having steel, and then if there is no steel, then there is no question of corrosion. So your cement content can be further reduced. So here it was 300, and here it is 220, from 220 to 280. And at the same time, maximum free water cement ratio is 0.6 to 0.40. So this is table number 5 of IS 456. And in concrete which is being exposed in marine environment, the minimum grade of concrete to be used is M20 as far as plain concrete is considered, and M30 in case of reinforced concrete. So wherever I'm going for a concrete in the marine environment, remember, minimum grade of concrete to be used is M30 only, not M20. In the localities of Hubli, I can use M20 for general construction in reinforcement, but not so in the coastal environment. This is again a clause given in IS 456. Next, maximum nominal size of the aggregate. In general, actually, larger the size of the aggregate, greater is the strength of the concrete. But the size of the aggregate, it is not it is dependent on many of the factors. Okay, like spacing between the reinforcement, like I have a formwork, I have a shuttering. Okay, so there is a Restriction on the size of the aggregate. IS 456 and IS 1343 recommends that the nominal size of aggregate should be as large as possible. They recommend it. But if I go with a larger size, say my spacing of steel is around 75 mm and my aggregate is around 80 mm. So can this aggregate pass through the spacing? It cannot pass through the spacing. What does it lead? It leads to the formation of cavities or voids in the concrete. Okay, and you know, the more the voids, lesser is the strength of the concrete. So for this, we have some certain criteria to be followed here. Okay, and at the same time, your cement content is supposed to be changed. Whatever the cement content we have seen in table number 5, that is for that is assuming nominal maximum size of aggregate as 20 mm. For 20 mm, there is no correction. If I am using coarse aggregate lesser than 20 mm size, if I am using nominal size as 10 mm, then I should increase the cement content by plus 40. Okay. Now, if I am increasing the size, if I am going for 40 mm, okay, then I'm supposed to decrease the cement content by minus 30. So what we understand by this graph is, even based on nominal size of the aggregate, your cement content is changing. Okay, lesser the size, more is the cement content you have to add. More the size, less is the cement content you have to add. This is clause number 8.2.4.1 in IS 456, table number 6. Okay, so this is about minimum cement content to be adopted. And now, how does this spacing of a reinforcement is being affected? D is the spacing of the reinforcement and C is the nominal cover to the reinforcement. And remember, maximum size of aggregate here shall not be greater than, or it has to be lesser than 3D by 4 or 3C by 4. So when I am selecting the size aggregate, my size is supposed to be smaller than the 0.75 times of this D and C. Similarly, this is a formwork. This is thickness of the flange. This is thickness of the web here. Okay, E is being this thicknesses, and then my maximum size of aggregate shall be lesser than E by 5. Similarly, this is a slab, and in the slab case, it is supposed to be lesser than E by 3. Okay, so this is also going to affect your mix proportioning. Now, grading and type of the aggregate. See, I'm always supposed to use a well graded concrete. Better the grading of the concrete, less is the voids in it. So lesser the void, I require minimum cement content. That's how it influences. That's how the grading and aggregate grading of aggregate is going to affect the concrete. Okay, at the same time, this grading is also indirectly proportional to your workability of the concrete. So if you could look at this box here, this box is being filled with chocolates. Okay, and look at this here. You could find more of the voids in this box. At the same time, if chocolates are being arranged in a nice manner, we will find minimum voids in it. Okay, this is typically can be related to a grading of your aggregates. I'm supposed to use that type of grading which creates a minimum void in it. In the sense, minimum space is required to be filled with the cement paste. Okay, and that's how particle packing. It's related to particle packing here. Coarse aggregates being voids filled with the voids created by coarse aggregates are being filled with fine aggregates. Later, this remaining voids will be filled with a cement paste. Okay. Now, if you could look at this, here I have used all the sizes of aggregates. Then I have less voids in it. Here I am using a certain portion of a similar size of aggregates. Then I am ending with a more voids here. So I'm supposed to remember here, particle packing is very important. It will also increase the density of the concrete. Okay, and it will reduce the voids. Further, these voids will be filled with cement paste. So I require lesser cement paste to fill these voids. That's how it is important. So densely packed graded aggregates will have less voids, whereas single size aggregates, a uniform grading will have more voids in it. Quality control, how we perform our work with the quality control as far as on the site is considered, that is also important in the mixed proportional. Okay, this is also again being mentioned in your IS code book. How my process of batching, mixing, placing, curing, testing of this is going to take place. How I am going to store my cement. How I am going to store my aggregates. Okay, is the cement is being just stored on the floor? We cannot store cement on the floor. There are certain um, precautionary measures how the cement is supposed to be stored on the site. Okay, if they are not being followed, then obviously what happens is the quality of the cement decays, or there will be a degrade in the quality of the cement that will lead to increase in the cement content. So quality control plays a very important role. That's also being mentioned. And at the same time, what does this IS 456 mentions is, if the quality, he classifies quality of the control as good and fair. Okay, what is good and what is fair is being mentioned here. Site control having proper storage of cement, way batching of the all materials, controlled addition of the water, regular checking of all the materials, aggregate grading, moisture content, and periodical checking. And then fair site control having deviation from the above, it's called as fair. Okay, how does it affect? And see, look at this. I have a standard deviation for different grades of the concrete as 3.5, 4, and 5.0. Okay. Now, if you could read this note, if your quality control is fair, then you have to increase this standard deviation by 1. When the quality control is not good, then your standard deviation becomes 4.5 here. This becomes 5. This becomes 6. Okay. And I'm using this standard deviation in the mix design to get the strength. Okay, more the now if you could look at the unit of the standard deviation, it is Newton per mm square. It is compressive strength. More the standard deviation is, more the cement you have to add. So that will affect your mix proportion. So these are some different factors, overall different factors which will affect our process of mix selection. Mix selection is the term coined by Neville. Is one of the good textbooks with concrete technology are available with this Neville. Okay, you can read those. This is the same chart which is being taken from that textbook. He tries to mention each and every parameter which is going to affect my mix proportion. It starts from method of transportation, method of compaction, size and selection of the spacing of the reinforcement, aggregate shape and texture. Okay, you know that rounded aggregates are more workable. If they are not so rounded, they are less workable. Then to make it workable, I may have to increase the water, or I may have to add the admixture. Okay, so admixture is a part of mixed proportion. So here it is again affecting your mixed proportion, workability, your thermal requirements. I'm not talking of this, you may study it later. Okay, and at what period I require the minimum strength, that will also affect. If I require the strength to be attained at 3 days only, then I may have to change my cement from OPC to like high alumina cement, which will give me strength at 3 days only, 3 days or 7 days. Okay, so that will also affect my mix proportion. Then nature of cementitious materials, like whether I'm using fly ash, GGBS, what else I'm using, the mean strength, quality control, minimum strength. They are dependent on the water cement ratio. Okay, and again these are related to your cement content. And then grading of the aggregate size, durability requirements. We have minimum cement content as far as durability requirement is concerned. So all these things, they are being related, they are interlinked, they are all functions of this mixed proportion. So mixed proportion is not just about giving a proportion as 1 is to 2 is to 4 or some numbers. Okay, it's way beyond that. We have to study scientifically to achieve our mixed proportion. As and when you keep on practicing with a mixed proportion, then what happens is that becomes an art. Okay, a mixed proportions becomes an art. You can just by having glance at the type of the cement and aggregates, you could give a mixed proportion of the required strength. But still, there are various possibilities of mixed proportions, and obtaining very economical mixed proportion among the many of the mixed proportioning, achieving that is very important. Okay, with this, I'm going to stop the today's presentation. In the next class, I will be dealing with the steps which are therefore in the mixed proportion for IS 10262 2019. Please make a correction here. It is 2019. So that I will be dealing in the next class. Thank you.